What Dreams May Come is one of Robin Williams' standout features that showcases the beauty and wonder of the afterlife as imagined through the lens of novelist Richard Matheson. Based on the novel What Dreams May Come, we are set upon a journey through a non-biblical depiction of heaven and hell through the eyes of Robin Williams' character Chris Nielsen. A former doctor and father of two, Chris longs for his wife and children as he unravels the mysterious nature of an afterlife spawned from the art of his tormented wife. Whether it's your first time on my channel or not, please like and subscribe to show your support for the revival of quality films and awareness for such.
Well, that's a step in the right direction.
In the beginning of the film, we are immediately thrown into the developing relationship between Robin Williams' Chris and his soulmate Annie, played by Annabelle Sciorra. We thus lightly follow their marriage, efforts to raise their son and daughter, as well as their foundation of trust and beliefs. All of such is put to the test after the sudden death of their children Ian and Marie. Driven with grief and blame-inducing thoughts, the two struggle to cope with the immeasurable loss. The pain grows further worse for Annie when she receives the shocking news that her husband has perished from a heroic effort that cost his life. However, his story has just begun, as he is guided by a blurry angelic figure who shows him the aftermath of his death, traversing the life of his widowed wife. Unable to directly speak with her, Chris attempts time and time again to revive his memory, but eventually retires from his efforts to cleanse her pain. After his attempts had failed, Chris awakens in a painted landscape beautifully representative of his wife's dream paradise for their family to be. The remarkable atmosphere of the environment is unlike any other I have seen, and stands as an impressive feat among the primitive technology from 1998. Reunited with his long-lost Dalmatian, he discovers the wonders of his own heavenly world alongside his dog and an old friend he revered from his past. Cuban Gooding Jr. is somewhat of an angel that reveals the mysteries and at times harsh realities of the afterlife. Eventually, he reveals that his wife has perished and has ended up in her own sort of hell, reluctantly revealing the impossibility to save her from it. Chris, however, cannot stand idly by in his lonesome paradise without her. Regardless of Gooding's warnings of the risk to do so, he sets sail to the underworld, risking his own salvation to set her free. What makes this film particularly breathtaking, despite the captivating visuals and heartwarming revelations, is the moving perspective we follow through Robin Williams. His incredible compassion for his family is beautifully reflected in his performance. We see him at his highest and his lowest through flashback material of his past, as well as through his efforts to reunite with his fallen children. The already moving emotional roller coaster is thus further defined with the reminder of the loss of Robin Williams in 2014. Seeing the man dedicated to bring smiles to people's faces, planted in a reality of unending happiness, is incredibly moving and will undoubtedly bring tears to your eyes through its near 2-hour runtime. And giving you my thoughts, this movie is just a moving film. It's certainly trying to be moving. The entire purpose of this movie is to get you emotionally stimulated, whether it's abundant joy, overwhelming sadness, depression. We see loss, we see life, we see it's very much so a roller coaster. We just get a roller coaster of emotions that we feel throughout this movie, because it's just back and forth with loss, greatness, joy, happiness, sadness, depression. And we see that bouncing back and forth through Robin Williams, and mostly joy we see with him. And then we also see the opposite with his wife in the real world, where she's really tormented and depressed. She has no family left. And we get an unraveling of also what happened in the past. And it isn't as bright and as beautiful and glamorous as it is portrayed in the very beginning of the film. He might not have had the best relationship with his wife. There was some choice mistakes he made with his children. And we see a lot of that unraveled throughout the film. So the very beginning is certainly just a summarization of where his life was before a lot of the loss, and before he died, of course, and made it to his own version of heaven. And of course, this movie, it couldn't have gone anywhere without Robin Williams. He is a phenomenon, and this movie reminds me that nobody in Hollywood, especially modern day, ever since 2014 in particular, have we seen someone replace him. Have we seen any sort of actor exhibit and provide such a overwhelmingly beautiful, dramatic, authentic performance as Robin Williams? He's able to balance humor and compassion perfectly, and I don't think we have anybody in the pool of actors nowadays that has been able to act in such a way that it's convincing and it feels authentic and genuine. And he certainly does that in this, and he does so in Good Will Hunting, of course. But this movie, it it hits hard. It tries to hit hard, and it works. And this movie, ever more so, is emotional because we know that Robin Williams is no longer with us. And I think when we look back at actors and look at their performances, like Heath Ledger as Joker, Robin Williams in this, Robin Williams in whatever else, Jumanji, Good Will Hunting, Mrs. Doubtfire, is that it's just so much more sad, and you really feel for him in this movie. And as I said, it's just a blessing to see him in this unending happiness that we do in this film. There is some stuff that is odd about this movie. I don't think this film in any way, shape, or form is trying to reflect a biblical interpretation of, or a biblical representation of heaven and hell. Although hell is miserable and heaven is amazing in this, it seems like right off the bat they try to discredit that notion, mostly because God isn't even present in this movie. It's so weird. Cuba Gooding Jr.'s character, he kind of alludes that God is like elsewhere and that he's just watching everyone. While so in heaven, of course, that wouldn't be the case. I mean, you're around God all the time. So it's a very odd portrayal. So don't take this as any sort of biblical interpretation. It also, a big part of it has to do with reincarnation, which I thought was a little bit ridiculous. I didn't like seeing that in here. And a lot of characters that we're introduced to turn out to be reincarnated versions of other people that are familiar to Robin Williams. So I didn't feel for that very much. And that kind of, it's confusing, and it doesn't really hit when it's revealed, so just be aware of that. What's also odd is that, which adds to the fictional kind of aura of this whole situation of heaven and hell, is that there seems to be no judgment, and the reason why people enter this heaven or enter the hell, which they don't even really consider to be hell, I don't think they even particularly name it as hell. It just seems to be like this place where people don't accept themselves, which is odd, or don't accept that they've died. It's none of it seems to really be based on choices that they made in life, except that the wife's choice was that she killed herself, and somehow she ended up in this area. So it was very odd, and I don't particularly understand what that was supposed to be. I guess I'd have to read the novel to have a further understanding of what the author was trying to exhibit there. But that was also just something odd. But something that is particularly important to remember with this movie is that it's just important to see what a heaven and what a hell would look like, to understand and to be reminded of that, to be reminded of the beauty of salvation, to be reminded of the beauty where Jesus can take us when we die, and hopefully when we make it to heaven, to just be in a place of just unending happiness and beauty and joy. And this movie, it just shows you that. And Robin Williams, he reflects these joys and these emotions just perfectly, and it makes you just ever more so happy to see this place and to be a part of it. It's so easy to enter his shoes and to feel free and alive through this beautiful atmosphere that's created by his connection that he has with his wife, and through the paintings and through the art of her work. So that is just a beautiful experience that feels real and genuine. When we see the hell, it also feels real, although it's not like this fiery hell of pure pain. It's a different experience where it's depression, it's pure misery, emptiness, and it's disgusting down there. And they show that it's a disgusting, horrible place, which is also a reminder that we need to get straight with God, right? And that we can't follow our sin to the very end like that. We need to be freed through Jesus. And by seeing both of these, they're just reminders. They're just reminders that we need to keep our eyes focused, right? And we need to keep our lives focused. And that's not exactly what this movie was going for, but that was my interpretation going in to see this film. What also complements the beautiful atmosphere, the amazing cinematography, the incredible performance from Robin Williams, as well as just the interesting story and the revelation of big mysteries finally being revealed, is that it has a beautiful score. It has this heavenly score that really puts you there, and it makes the atmosphere just that much more realistic, and you feel as if you are in Robin Williams' shoes. And to conclude, I recommend you check out this movie. There's just a lot of great things going for it, and I say this a lot in my videos, but this is another truly unique movie experience. Just being thrown into this world, seeing it through the perspective in the eyes of Robin Williams, and just witnessing the beauty of this painted, like literally painted reality. It's very different. It's very different, and it's something that we just haven't seen replicated in films ever since back when this was made in 1998. So it's an interesting, immersive experience that you are going to enjoy, and it's so much more than just the visuals. Robin Williams is absolutely worth your time watching this film and seeing this story unfold, and maybe learning a lesson or two along the way. If you have something to say in the comments, I'd love to hear your opinions about this film. What do you think? Have you seen this movie? Are you planning on watching it in the future? Are you a big Robin Williams fan? Do you think anybody in Hollywood has replaced him or has the potential to replace him? I'd like to know which new actors have that potential, because I just haven't seen it anywhere. But regardless, I thank you for watching my video. Thank you for spending some time with me. If you learned something or if you liked what I had to say, please make sure to leave a thumbs up. I greatly appreciate it. And if you would like to follow my journey even further, check out some more content of mine. I review movies pretty frequently. I go back to the past, watch some great old stuff, maybe talk about the stuff from the past that also isn't as good. I also see a lot of new stuff in the theater, so I'm going to be making some commentary and summarizing those films. If you want to follow my journey, please consider subscribing to my channel. I would greatly appreciate it. It really helps the channel out a lot, and I'm a new creator, and I've really enjoyed the process. So if you want to join me along that journey, consider subscribing. But otherwise, thank you for watching. I'll see you next time.